My name is Jeff Dares. This channel is Dares Drives, and we're currently converting a 2019 Mercedes Sprinter van into a 4x4 Overland Roaming home, which we're going to travel the continent with. If you like that kind of thing, maybe hit that subscribe. So this week on the DIY van build, we have to make a big decision, and that is either we insulate the van or we wire the van. Both very big decisions. So silly me, I went out to one of those van build groups on Facebook and I actually asked the question. It was just a whole bunch of yes and no's.
Yes. No.
Both directions, 50% call.
Yes.
So when we put it down to fate, we got a quarter. We do say heads, it's insulation. Tails, we do wires. That took me so long to record, I don't remember what I said. So it is tails. We're doing insulation. That's my call. Like we're gonna let the fate of my van go down to a flip of a coin. Come on now. Now to insulate our van, it should be a pretty straightforward job. We only need a few tools, a pair of scissors, a whole whack load of spray glue, same stuff we used on our headliner. And then for the actual insulation itself, I have chosen this big roll of stuff. This product here is called Thinsulate. Yes, the exact same product that comes inside like your jackets that say Thinsulate on them. That's what this is. Now the insulation just itself is a can of worms if you ask anybody about it. There's a lot of materials you can choose. One of the choices is fiberglass insulation, and as you know, you gotta be dressed up pretty safe to handle that stuff or else you end up with little fiberglass slivers all over your body. The other option is I see a lot of people using this kind of stuff, which is the spray foam insulation. And although it has a really high R value, it absorbs water like you wouldn't believe, and to get that stuff out, you're literally digging and prying and not a fun job. The other downside to it is people spray it inside these rails like this along the van, and what happens on the outside of the van is the body goes like this because it creates pressure on these panels. And look, they're not very strong. You can see just me pushing on them pushes them in, so any type of pressure out, it makes a wave. No way, not doing it. And then the other option is like a wool material, so it'd be kind of similar to this, but it's literally just sheep wool, which works really good again as an insulation, completely safe, not gonna harm you. You can snuggle up in it, it's not gonna do anything to you, but again, it absorbs water like crazy. Because you gotta remember, this is going up against metal, so if you're holding moisture, next thing following that is rust. But again, I chose the 3M product, which is called Thinsulate. Now this will expand to about 1.5 inches thick once it's been unraveled for a bit, kind of like those mattresses you buy that are all rolled up from IKEA. Yeah. As well as it's completely safe. I can handle this material all I want, no gloves, I can put it on my face. It's completely moisture resistant. So you see the water just runs right off it, and it won't hold that water in at all. Which means it's never gonna mold, it's never gonna cause rust on the walls. The other positive side, it's completely flame proof, meaning it might melt a little bit with heat. Now this is a blowtorch, but it will not start on fire. What? So that should answer your questions as to why I chose Thinsulate. Now as you know, we also did put the lizard skin on. A lot of people think the snake oil is kind of the lizard skin is a snake oil. I'm here to tell you, the whole point is to stop the thermal transfer from the sun beating on the outside of that metal to the heat getting through to the inside. And all paints offer a thermal resistance, and the lizard skin is really thick, kind of rubbery type material, and supposedly the ceramic just helps slow that heat down a little bit more. And we've done a test, we've proven it, and then with our Thinsulate as our main insulation, we're gonna be perfect, we're gonna be set. So before we actually go into installing this stuff though, there's a couple things we need to do to prep our wires before putting the insulation in. So let me show you that real quick. So the first thing we have is 2 junction boxes. Now for these boxes, I'm not gonna go into a ton of detail on this video. This is gonna be for next week when we're actually doing the electrical. But just so you know, before you do the insulation, this does need to be done if you're gonna do it this way. So our box is gonna go from looking like this to looking like this. Once we have this all together, we're gonna use more of our 3M adhesive and add it to the back of the junction box, because it's not like I can put screws to the side of the body. Once those are all mounted like this, as you can see, it's gonna hold them in place with duct tape because they're on the side. That way I know they're gonna adhere properly. And now I'm gonna use our impact drill and our impact hole saw bit that we got. And we're gonna drill a hole in the top rail just so that our wires that are gonna come across and down to our junction box have a place to go through. Now the reason for doing this now is because when I drill those holes, It's going to create metal filings, and I'd rather get those metal filings cleaned up now until I have that insulation in, and also those metal filings start melting their way into the fiberglass. Just something we can avoid, so let's do that. And man, let me tell you, does this thing work freaking fabulous. So that leaves us with the insulation, and this should happen fast, as there's just no technical skills required to this at all. So simple.
One eternity later.
Well, it should have been fast, and I'm going to keep it fast for you. But this is absolute proof that having the right tools is so flipping important. This should be as easy as cutting the insulation, spraying some glue on the backside of the insulation, spraying some glue on the wall of the van, and adhering it. But when it came to cutting this, I started off with a simple pair of scissors like this. Hold on, I think I need a better pair of scissors. So I went inside and grabbed my house scissors that look like this. I am going to recommend getting a good pair of scissors. So the hunt was on. I had to find my heavy duty scissors that look like this, because that would have taken us years. And these are a bit better. No, they're not. But I'm not going back to the store at this point, because I don't know if you tried going to the stores during COVID here. Home Depot's a freaking disaster. So 8 hours later, here we are, and a lot of the spots are done. But we definitely did not get finished. We still got these spots to do on the both sides walls. We still got a bunch of the roof to do. My fingers from trying to cut that stuff are killing me. It took this rather simple job, which is still simple, but just delayed my time like you wouldn't believe. So I've gone out and I went and got myself a real pair of scissors. Now look at the difference. If I had just done this yesterday, we would have been done this job so long ago. And once all those walls and ceiling are finally finished, the last thing we gotta do is wrap up the wheel wells, because these let in a lot of draft, noise, and cool air. And that's our wheel well sealed in. Then we're going to tape these wheel wells off just to keep dirt away from the actual insulation itself, as well as just kind of keep, ow, I just got cramped up. Oh, Nelly. As well, helps keep condensation or anything like that from landing on it or getting in it, or, yeah. And there it is. So that's just a little bit of thermal tape. That's probably the most complex part of the job, is insulating and thermal taping those wheel wells. So that thermal tape is sticky stuff, let me tell you. We got all the walls filled with Thinsulate, we got the roof filled with Thinsulate, we got the doors, pretty much everything except for the floors. But that's a different project with a different product for a different video. Look at my fingers from all this. That's from gluing the Thinsulate. It looks like I got fuzzy fingers, like I got tennis ball fingers. Listen to my voice in this place.
How you doing?
It's pretty sweet, isn't it? It's like sound studio quality. But I gotta clean up our mess. As you can see, we didn't have very many cutoffs. We did pretty good. And we still got lots of roll left, which means we can make some Thinsulate window covers come time as well. So much to share, I tell you. See all these wires here? I gotta figure out all these wires before next Sunday, because that's what we're doing for next week. So if you've made it this far and you haven't subscribed yet, maybe consider doing so. No pressure, you do you, but it is completely free and it does mean the world to me. If you have subscribed, thank you. And of course, as always, we will see you next Sunday. Perfect.